Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. It's that time of the year when we look back on the year that's gone by and make plans for the coming year, and this video is making plans for the coming year. Well, not as much making plans as to looking forward to what's coming in this next year. And in today's video I will be talking to you about 15 of my most anticipated book releases of 2022. Of course, there are way more books than what are mentioned in this video, but these are the ones that I'm super excited about. Some of these authors I have read and absolutely loved. Some of them I have on my TBR and have heard nothing but good things about, and a couple of these I found to be super interesting, which is why they made it onto this list. So since there are so many books in this video, let's just get on with it and let me share with you the 15 of my most anticipated book releases of 2022. First up is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. This is a young adult novel that spans two generations and talks about their relationship with each other, and talks about love, loss, forgiveness, and how it encapsulates their lives and how it brings changes to it. And I've been seeing nothing but heart-wrenching reviews of it, although you know what, from Sabaa Tahir, that's what you would expect, because if you've seen me gush about An Ember in the Ashes over the past year, you'll know that I have cried and cried and cried because of the heartbreak that the plot as well as the writing causes. And Sabaa Tahir is very unapologetic about it, as she should be, because she wields all the power and her writing is so fantabulous. Anything that she writes, I will go and read it. I don't even have to know much about it. Even if I hadn't known what this was about, you know me, and if it's by Sabaa Tahir, it's even more so. This book releases on March 1st and I'm hoping against hope that it releases in India as well. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Please, please, please let it be available here. It's just, if it's not available, I think I'm just going to flip. Next is Inheritance by Elizabeth Acevedo. You know how big of a fan of Elizabeth Acevedo I am. The Poet X is one of my favorite books of all time. And Inheritance, which is scheduled to release on May the 3rd, at least that's the predicted date. It talks about Black and Latina girls' relationships with their hair and all of that. It's a poem of sorts and it is going to be illustrated, and this book, I have a feeling that it's going to be a very quick read, but knowing Elizabeth Acevedo, she's going to put in all of the heartbreak, all of the hope into a single book, however many pages they are. This is another book that I am absolutely going to love. I don't know if it's a good thing to have such high expectations from one of your favorite authors, but maybe there's a reason why they are your favorite author. This next book is by an author whose debut book I'm still reading at the time of filming. I'm reading The Poppy War right now, and R.F. Kuang's writing is so rich with detail, so fantastic. And the book I'm talking about, which releases on August 23rd, is called Babel, or The Necessity of Violence, an Arcane History of the Oxford Translators' Revolution. The title is a bit of a mouthful, but then again it shows that even this book is going to be filled with rich detail, and there's going to be a lot of strategy and historical elements to it, because this is a historical fiction. This is set in the early 1800s, in which an orphan is brought to England, and this whole thing where there's a tower of translation and which rules over the empire or something, and now there's something dark creeping up, and this person has to now stand up against the empire. But will it be possible? It forms the entire story. To be very honest, when I saw the title of this book, I thought it was going to be non-fiction, but it's historical fiction. R.F. Kuang's writing will do that to you, which is why I am so looking forward to this one as well. And that cover, man, that cover is fabulous as hell. Next up is Bitter by Akwaeke Emezi, and this releases on February the 15th, although I don't know the release date for India. This is a sort of a prequel kind of novel to Akwaeke Emezi's earlier book, which is called Pet, and this follows Bitter, who is a kind of an artist. And now she has to find out her relationship with art, and whether being an artist, or whether being a revolutionary, or whether just being a plain old student is going to suit her. At least that's what I remember of the blurb. And I remember reading the author's the death of Vivek Oji, and I felt so heartbroken by it. So when I saw that they were coming out with a new book, I was super excited, and I'm just hoping that it releases in India as well. I think that's the case with all of these books. I just have to keep hoping that they release in India around the time that they are releasing worldwide. Next up is An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan. I read Emily X.R. Pan's An Astonishing Color of After, and I really enjoyed it. I liked how the author combined, I think that was young adult and sort of folklore, and brought this whole different kind of story to the forefront about the relationship with family and relationship with friends and one's past as well. And I really enjoyed it. So when I saw that the author is coming out with a Romeo and Juliet retelling, which is combined with Chinese mythology, I was like, yes, I need this in my life. This is a story of Hunter and Luna, who are obviously on two different parts of society. Their families want nothing to do with each other, and as I mentioned, it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and that's the basic premise. And there's going to be a lot of supernatural and mythology, and I'm really excited to see what this author brings forward. This releases on April 12th. Next up is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I read Casey McQuiston's Red, White and Royal Blue, I think it was in October or November, and I absolutely freaking loved it because she writes with wit and humor combined with feeling that I haven't seen a lot of, and I really love that kind of writing. And when I saw that Casey McQuiston's new book was coming out, of course I haven't read One Last Stop yet, but I will rectify that soon. But I thought, yes, that's straight up going on my list because of how much I love her writing. This is a story of Chloe Green, who moves from California, Southern California, I think, to Alabama and into a Christian academy. And there she is kissed by Shara Wheeler, and then Shara completely disappears. But Chloe finds out that she is not the only one that Shara has kissed. There are two other boys who she has kissed, and now these three band together to find out what has happened to Shara. Where has she disappeared? Why did she do that before she disappeared? And I feel like Casey McQuiston does this where she talks simply about certain things, but she handles some really heavy topics. So she has the knack to do that, to bring issues to the forefront while keeping it simple. And that's what I love about Casey McQuiston's writing. And I cannot wait to read her new book, which releases on May 3rd, by the way. That's clashing with Inheritance. Next up is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I had read the guest list by this author this year, and I really liked it, although I did have some issues with it in the terms of writing style and all. But other than that, I did like that the book was such a crisp thriller, even though it was not that fast paced. Lucy Foley has a knack to write a decent thriller, and I really am looking forward to this because this is set in Paris, in which Jess, whose life is just all over the place, she wants to get away from things. She wants to turn a page and have a fresh start and all. But when she calls her half brother Ben, he is not thrilled to know that she is coming, and she, with all dreams in her eyes and everything, she goes to Paris where Ben is, and she finds a very nice apartment which she wasn't expecting, and she didn't know that her half brother could afford this. But the more she spends time there, the more she realizes that she is discovering a lot of things about Ben that she didn't think she would. And in the quest to bury her own past, she is now looking at what her half brother's future holds. This is really interesting, and I would love to go to Paris on this journey. Okay, maybe going to Paris through a thriller isn't the best idea, but it's Paris, and I would love to read this book and to find out what exactly it is that Jess is going through. Next up is Heartstopper number 5 by Alice Oseman. I love the Heartstopper series. I read the first 4 volumes, although the 5th is also out, but I wanted to wait until the book is officially out before I read it on Webtoons. Alice Oseman is such a fabulous writer and illustrator as well. Her characters Nick and Charlie are some of my favorite. They have my whole heart. I wish I could give them a big huge hug. And Heartstopper is being made into a TV series, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm also excited for that. But more excited I am for this 5th volume in the Heartstopper graphic novels, and I'm so looking forward to it. Of course, I can read it before it comes out because it's already there on Webtoons, but I feel like I'm being true to the author if I wait for the book to come out before I go and read it. I don't know how that works. Sometimes bookworms' brains, you just can't explain stuff. So thank you for understanding. Next up is Fevered Star, the second in the Between Earth and Sky series by Rebecca Roanhorse. I read the first book. I listened to the first book called Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse as an audiobook on Libro FM, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very short audiobook, and it talks about control over the sun and the moon and magical powers. And the part that I loved about this book is that it uses neopronouns, and you don't see a lot of it in literature these days. And I feel like it was years ago that I read Black Sun, although it was in 2020, which is not even 2 years ago. But I'm going to have to re-listen to this audiobook so that I'm up to date with what's happening in Fevered Star. Fevered Star releases on April 19th, and I cannot wait to get through it. Although the audiobook for Black Sun, it won't take me long. So I think the re-listen is coming in April as well. Next up is To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. And this author's A Little Life has been known to wreck people's lives. It has broken people's heart. It has left them thinking about the book for way after they have finished reading the book and whatnot. And when I saw that this author's new book is releasing, I jumped, even though I still haven't read A Little Life because I'm so scared to read it. I'm very intimidated by it. I'm very scared that my heart is not going to be okay, and I get affected really soon. I keep thinking about stuff, I overthink stuff, and if that's going to happen to me, I know it's going to wreck me to no end. But I'm hoping that I will be able to read A Little Life in 2022 while keeping my heart intact, or at least recovering pretty soon, or owning the pain that the book causes. Anyway, To Paradise seems like another story about love and loss and grief and family, and I don't know if I can handle 2 Hanya Yanagihara books in the same year, but let's see. I don't know how the year is going to go because I'm taking it by year. I'm playing it by ear this year. To Paradise releases on the 11th of January, which is like in a few days. Next up is Heatwave, the third in the Extraordinary series by TJ Klune, which releases on July 19th. I haven't read the second book in the series. I listened to the first book, which is called The Extraordinaries, which is narrated by Michael Leslie, and I absolutely loved it. The main character is so bumbling, and he doesn't see the obvious, but it's very charming, it's very adorable to read. But I haven't read Flashfire, which is the second in the series, but I am super excited for the third one to release. Maybe then I can go and reread the first one, as well as read the second and the third as well. And this is about hidden superheroes and seeing what's right in front of your eyes. It's a YA book. TJ Klune's writing is always so wonderful. It's witty, funny, humorous. He makes you think, he makes you cry, he makes you laugh, and so many other things. He makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. Really, really looking forward to Heatwave as well. Well, if you're putting it that way, I'm looking forward to the book Heatwave. I'm not looking forward to heat waves this summer, please. Next up is Adult Assembly Required by Abby Waxman, and this releases on May 17th. I read The Bookish Life of Nina Hill a couple of years ago and I absolutely really enjoyed it. And this is the story of Laura Costello, who moves to another city in the US, and she almost immediately finds herself homeless, but she is then unofficially adopted by a bookseller, and she is put up in some sort of a boarding house, and she is now going places to win trivia games or something. And there's a lot of this stuff which you have already seen in The Bookish Life of Nina Hill if you have read it, but I don't think it's in the same universe. I'm not really sure about that, but I don't think it's in the same universe. And I have a feeling that this is also going to be there's going to be some sort of a romance in here, in where she meets the love of her life during one of these trivia games or something. Abby Waxman has this knack for bringing out the warmth in the most humiliating of circumstances, but I do feel like this is going to be a wholesome experience and it's going to make me smile. And also because it somehow feels like at this point in life, Adult Assembly Required is sort of a tagline to life in general. Like, adulting is not my thing, and you need someone to help with the assembly of the adult. Next up is A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons by Kate Khavari, and this releases on June 7th. I have an arc of this book through NetGalley, which I'm really excited to read. That title in itself is so intriguing, and this is a historical mystery in which the main character, called Saffron, has to find out what exactly has happened in order to prevent her professor from being sent to jail. He is wrongly accused of having poisoned his rival's wife, and Saffron has to find out what exactly is happening. And I really like the concept of this book, and I really like the title. That title just pulled me in, and I was like, how can you, okay, it's sort of sounds like some kind of a Hercule Poirot shit. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that I will enjoy this book. Even if I end up liking it, that's going to be a huge win for me. So next up is Moonflower by Kacen Callender. Kacen Callender's earlier book, Felix Ever After, I really enjoyed. That was a good book and I liked reading it, and I liked how the prose was very flowy, it's very lucid. And I'm very interested to see what Kacen Callender does with Moonflower, in which the main character, who is sort of navigating the spiritual world and the present world and trying to tightrope the line between these two. And as a story of hope and wholesomeness and beauty and whatnot, this sounds really interesting, and it's right up my alley. If it makes me feel things, if it makes me bawl, so be it. I don't mind it one bit. Moonflower is expected to release on May 3rd, but I don't know about India because Felix Ever After is also not available in India. Last but not the least on this list is The River of Silva by S.A. Chakraborty, and this is expected to release in March 2022, although there's not a set date. I didn't find a set date for it, but these are tales from Devabad. The Devabad trilogy, The City of Brass, The Kingdom of Copper, and The Empire of Gold. These are books that I haven't read. I read The City of Brass, but I don't remember anything, so I re-added it to my TBR again. The River of Silva is, I think, a collection of tales from this universe, this Devabad universe, and I'm really excited to see. I'm hoping that 2022 will be the year in which I do end up reading the Devabad trilogy, and I'm super excited for it. I'm going to be listening to the audiobook as well while I read it because it helps. But I do remember S.A. Chakraborty's writing being absolutely wonderful. I was traveling somewhere in 2019 and I read it on a plane. I read it wherever I could find the time, whenever I could find the time, and I felt myself being absorbed into that world, into Devabad. That is why I'm so excited about this, even though I haven't read the last two in that trilogy. It's okay, there's always next year, and I will keep saying that for as many years as it takes. So those were my 15 most anticipated book releases of 2022. Which of these are you most excited about? What books are on your excitement list? What books are you looking forward to reading in 2022? They could be backlist titles or they could be new releases. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share it to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life.